How you doing? Happy Saturday evening. It's a beautiful Saturday evening here in North Carolina.
I tell you, it was. Um, Listen, we are excited to come together again for Never Better Together. We are excited that it's Saturday. We had some kind of week, and we're just grateful that we made it through it,
That's
and we're
right.
here,
That's
and
right.
we're together, and
And we're
we
still
yeah, that
together.
means we still got
And
opportunity.
it's better. It's better to go through obstacles together,
Yeah.
um, especially when there are different components that you're playing. Um, the fact that you're loving each other while you're going through it,
Yes.
that there's no disharmony while you're going through the objects that you may be going through. And so whenever you begin to communicate, it makes life better. And we talked so much last week, the last time we was here, about communication and how much of the importance that communication is
Yes.
in a marriage. And so, especially when you're going through obstacles, and you're going through different barriers in life, you need somebody there that you can share with, that you can be transparent with, that you can open your heart with, that you can talk to. And sometimes I think that we're afraid in relationships that I can't share with my partner because he's going to use this against me later on. With men, if we feel like that we can't um, trust you with our heart, with our minds, whenever we um, oftentimes are with you. See, the reason that Samson put his head in Delilah's lap was because he felt like he could trust her.
Yes.
And so, whenever we lay our heads in our spouse's lap, in our significant other's lap, it's because we believe that we can trust them.
Yes.
And every man don't trust the same way. Every man don't give his heart so freely. That's why it's so easy for men to lay down with a woman, and there's really no connection. There's no tying to that because they don't. It's not from their heart. But women, on the other hand, because
Yeah.
they have different mechanisms.
Yeah, and I believe that as women, we have a responsibility. As men, you have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going through one thing that we learned this week is that everything is truly better together.
Everything.
And that even if you're single, don't go through things by yourself. It is important that you have someone that you can trust and rely on. Not everybody. You're not going to be able to talk to everybody. You're not going to be able to trust everybody. But what we learned this week and what I've learned, it's so much easier in the hardest times to have someone to do life with and to do it honestly and do it unapologetically and do it whatever comes, I've got you with me to do it with. I can trust you to go with me and to not judge me, or I can trust you to go with me and to tell me what's right, even if it hurts me. I can trust you to be honest with me on any level. Because one thing, we're all imperfect people. We're just trying to get it together. We're just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
And so as we're trying to get it together, trying to get it right, I have to be able to communicate with my spouse. I have to be able to communicate with my significant other, because otherwise it is very difficult to share in anything together, to go through
Yeah.
anything together. Yeah.
As you talk about the husband and wife component, I think that is so important. But one thing that we learned this week is parents listen to your children. We're
Yes.
talking about better together, not just as a husband and wife.
Yes. Yes.
And we're going to
That's
be getting
important.
more and more into the
That's
fact
important.
about a family. We have
Yes.
a blended family.
Blended family.
So you have all of these different personalities
Yes.
under one roof trying to make a perfect house. And let me tell you, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
Yeah.
perfect. You can have some harmony
Yes.
because it's hard enough right now for our the ones that are here to decide what we're gonna have. Is it gonna be pizza? Is it gonna be hamburgers? Is it gonna be
Chicken.
almond milk? Is it gonna be 2%
Two
milk?
percent milk.
So there has to be a connection.
Yes.
Listen, talk to your children.
Yes, please.
Talk to your children. Um,
Talk to your children.
talk to
not
not at them.
At your children.
You gotta listen to them.
Yes.
You gotta listen to their heart. And listen, and there may be times that you may not even, they may not even say a word. You have to watch their body language. You have to
Yes.
watch everything about them.
Yes.
You have to be concerned. You have to be just loving. They may not be like you,
Yeah.
and then they may be just like you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
The parts of you that you don't want
Yes.
to acknowledge or accept.
Yeah.
That's-
So you got to make sure that you have this level of communication with your child. Do us a favor tonight.
Yes, yeah.
Just take about 30 minutes. They may be grown and adult and at the house, but say, hey, you know what? Let me give my son a call. Let me
Yeah.
give my daughter a call.
Yeah.
And just ask them, hey, how you doing? How was your week? How are things going? And you may talk to them every day, and that's all well and good. But make sure that you spend as much time as you can with them, sharing your experiences. Let them don't let them think that you're perfect. Don't let them think that you never that hey, that ain't never did that ain't never. But, well, and that's okay. But you have to communicate with them, spend time with them. We say to ourselves that what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that as a unit we come together and spend time, but also individually with our children. I'll get an opportunity to spend with Jada. I get an opportunity to spend with Trinity. She'll get an opportunity to spend with Thomas and Jamal, vice versa.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why it's important. What we learned we learned so many lessons in this 1 week while we have been overcoming our obstacles, just to be unified. We do have a blended family, and blended families go beyond everyone in the household.
Yeah.
It goes for both parents. It goes for their children. If there's any children that you do not share, could remarry and they have children together. Blended families extend so far, and so it's important to have unity. We have been able to look at God's blessings even during our going and overcoming our obstacles. We have been able to count our blessings, still counting our blessings, because we can see God bringing everything together, even in the midst of whatever we're going through. And so, count your blessings. When you have blended families, you have to be able to, bottom line is taking yourself out of the equation and sticking to what needs to be dealt with. Love has always got to be present. If you are going to be a person, a Christian, in even the least of a Christian, just great values and understanding how that you need to treat people the way you want to be treated. You have to remove yourself out of the way, because everyone is important. That makes up the family. Everyone has a role to play, and you got to know your role. That's just a life lesson. Know who you are, and when you know who you are, you can play your role. Because what happens is we allow our own insecurities and our own lacks to get in the way from a lot of things, our blessings and things that are due to us, because we won't remove ourselves. So know who you are. Do everything that you can before you get to do or know anything else. Be able to look in the mirror and identify yourself and what you possess, because that is going to be key in how you deal with other people. There's no intimidation if you know who you are. And so in a blended family, it's important that those who are strong be strong, and be able to help those who may not be there yet. So we've experienced the blessings of God this week in our blended family, and just the unity and the love and being able to have empathy and just be able to bring our love and unity. We say I say I love and he say he loves, but am I able to feel his love? You know, are you able to feel my love? It's one thing to say that I'm a lover and I love people and I love God, but how can you love God and you hate your brother and you hate each other? No, you have to be able to say, you know what, let me find something in you. Now it may be something that you just cannot deal with, and that's fine. But if you love, you have to be able to extend it, and it doesn't matter if I extend it if you don't feel it,
Yeah,
right?
that is so true. You know, I think back again with the blended family and hearing our children, we gotta listen to them. You know, we can't just say sit down and talk to them.
Yes,
Sometimes you may have to do things with them. You may have to go places with them
you have
that,
to.
that you don't necessarily like. You may not like Monkey Joe's. You might not like going up to the Wingstop, or you may not like to
Starbucks.
Starbucks. But that's what they
Yeah.
like, and that's where
Yeah.
they feel comfortable, and that's when they can talk to you, and they can share their hearts. Especially with young guys, they don't share like young girls do.
Exactly.
They put up a brick wall, and they don't, and you have to go through everything possible to try to break it down. But you, as a parent, you do your best. I said something this morning when me and my wife was out. I said, you know, I don't know if it was in a prayer or me and her were just talking. I said, you know what? God died for situations just like this.
Yes.
God died, and I want to just let you know that
Yeah.
God died for situations just like
Yes.
yours.
Yes. Yes.
Anything that you can possibly go through,
Yes.
God has already bared
Yes.
that weight on the cross.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can do to cause him. There's no sin so great that God, that you can make God stop loving you. And I'm so glad that is so
Yes.
true.
Yes.
That there's nothing that I can do to cause God to stop loving me. So love on your children,
Yeah.
give them a big hug, text them. If they don't
Yes.
text back, it's all right. You text them because they may not be there. That's their way of communication in this era.
And consider that what worked for you
Yeah,
may not work
may not do it.
for your
Yeah.
child. That is really a hard lesson, I think, that we are learning with our children now, is that what worked for us, you know, growing up, you know, our mom could really look at us. Our mom could, we already knew, you know, how to act and respond. We wasn't too entitled, you know, and as soon as we felt entitled, they let us know where we stood. So things have changed, and even though we don't like how they've changed, you have to consider that you cannot communicate with your child the same way your mother or father communicated with you. It is imperative that we hear more than we speak with our children, because they have others to run to that will listen and that will tell them the wrong things to do. Some, not all wrong, but I'd rather be the first. If someone is telling my child the right thing to do, I want to be the one who told them first. I want them to say, you know what, that's what my parent already told me. That's what my mom already told me. My dad already told me that. And so it's important. Lift up your daughters, and you know, just talk to your sons and make sure that you are lifting up, pumping that esteem, pumping that self-esteem. Let them know they're the greatest to ever do it. Let them know that they're beautifully and wonderfully made. Let them know that that they are one of a kind. They are a masterpiece. It's important that they know these things, because we go through life just doing life to provide and make sure that they have everything that they want and that they have everything that they need, but yet we don't cater to their inner, to their emotions, and we don't invest into their right minds. We don't invest into their knowledge. Thinking school is just enough. So those are things that we, as a community, I think that it's just important that we go back to, because there are so many resources, and just looking at this and going through what we're going through, we have been trying to look into things and study things so that we can understand our children better.
Yeah.
Because it's important that we understand. It doesn't matter what we think, doesn't matter how we feel. It's just important that we understand them, and that they know that first they are understood at home, and they are accepted at home, and that they are loved at home. So that's what we wanted to do. We're gonna come back again sometime in sooner, just so that we can share.
Next week.
Yeah, next week. We just want. Yeah, next week.
We'll be
My
back
days
next
are like
week.
running
Yeah,
through.
it's already
But
said.
we just want to encourage you, and just making sure that as you're going through obstacles, make sure you keep God first. Make sure you're praying. Everybody needs to up their prayer game. We can't pray enough, because there are just so many things that we need released in the atmosphere and over our lives and our families' lives. Yes. So,
We just been trying our best to just pour into our children,
yes.
and just not spoiling them, you know. But we want to really pour into them. We really want to pour into them,
Yeah.
not necessarily financially, not necessarily with material
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
We want to pour our hearts in them. We want to let them know that we love you. Because I often hear that 14, 15, 16-year-old, that's where they start being rebellious.
Yeah.
But they don't have to go through all of that. They don't, or they don't have to go through that alone, because
Yes.
oftentimes they're trying to figure out, am I adult? Or a part of me want to be
Who am
adult,
I?
and then there's another part of me that wants to be a child. And so we have to tap into that part with our children. Sit down and listen to them. Again, like my wife said, don't be trying, don't always, as adults, we always believe that we have to have the last word, and you don't.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yes.
to let them have the last. You don't have to have the last word.
And that goes so far back, in our culture and generations, just as far as respect and honor. But I do believe in, after having children and knowing and going through obstacles with our families and our children, that it does go both ways. They have to be honored. They have to be lifted up. They have to be heard, because when they are not heard, they go different ways, and it's enough. We never know. We're still evolving and trying to figure out who we are as people.
Yeah.
So consider that our children are going through those motions, and they're just beginning.
And it's not like it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When you was a little boy,
Yeah.
and y'all went outside and y'all played all day long. You drank out the water, speak it, and all this stuff.
Not this.
Yeah, it ain't like that no more. You go
When
outside
street lights come
when the street
on.
lights come on.
Yeah.
Kids not
Lightning
even going
bugs.
outside anymore.
Yeah.
All they want to do is sit in
Everything
front of
play a game,
the game system
TikTok,
all day long.
YouTube,
Look
yeah.
at YouTube, and they're glued on it, and they're
Yeah.
satisfied.
And I mean, we have children, babies, so we have a 3-year-old, and we understand how she gravitates. She's 3. She was doing it at 2. She started close before she was 2. She gravitated to things because they were igniting, they were exciting, they were like,
And
ooh,
whether
this,
we
yeah.
want to hear it or not, that's
Yeah.
how she learned
Yeah.
so much stuff.
Yes, full sentences.
How she learned so many songs.
Yeah.
Good songs. Those ABCs.
And she's
Will on the
accurate
bus. And
accurate about
she
this.
knows those
Yes.
things, so.
Be the first thing in your children's ear when it comes to how they should express their emotions and how they should evolve through life. And it's just important that by knowing our children, we're able to know. Having a lot of children, it helps you understand that not one child will think like the next. Nobody is the same in the house. You're dealing with all different spirits, all different connections, all different emotions, and so you have to consider those things. And so it makes sense not to kind of buck up at your children and things, and sometimes certain levels are necessary, but it's just very important for the first thing to be understood, that I am trying to get to understand you, and I'm going to work to make sure that this is a healthy relationship.
The last thing we're out
Yes.
here, make sure that you are the first one
Yes.
that your children hear say, I love you, and not a stranger in the street.
Yeah.
You make sure that they see and hear it come out of your mouth. Let them hear you pray. Let them hear you have a conversation with God. But importantly, let them hear you say, I love you. I care. I'm there to support you, regardless of the direction. that they may go in life, the pain. You love on them as much as you possibly can. We thank God for you for joining us
Yes.
tonight, and we
Thank
look forward to seeing you
you.
guys again here real soon. We
Yes,
love you.
we love
and
you.
We are always better together. God bless you. Have a good Saturday.